Hi, I'm Shai, as usual. Welcome back to Omoi TV.
Today I want to bring you into the excitement that I'm feeling lately. Spring is here, it's nice and bright, I'm happy that it's warmer outside. And just like the flowers are coming into season, we're coming into season in terms of fresh new fountain pens at Omoi. We're now carrying a deeper selection of fountain pens from brands you know us for at the shop, plus debuting new brands and items we've never stocked before. Me and my coworkers are planning a bunch of events for this spring and summer with artists and brands that you know and love. So make sure you subscribe to our newsletter and follow our socials. You don't want to miss it. I'm so excited. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Today, specifically, we're going to talk about something that I'm personally excited about. I'm known as the fountain pen person here at Omoi. I just happen to be a little obsessed with them. Despite them being an incredible feat of engineering, they're not as complicated as it seems. They're not as crazy to take care of or anything like that. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you guys how to ink them, clean them, and just some general care tips for maintaining your fountain pens, because they are built to last you a lifetime. Here at Omoi, we curated a variety of different fountain pens from a variety of different places in the world. For example, Sailors from Japan, Kaweco from Germany, and Shon Design from right here in Philly, actually. So let's get into it. First, let's do inking. For inking, there's a variety of different ways you can go about it. The two most common ways, though, that we have here are going to be converter versus cartridge. Now, before you even touch that, you want to know if your pen is proprietary or international. That means, for proprietary, that the brand that you have will only take cartridges and or converters that fits that specific brand. For example, we have Sailor here. A Sailor fountain pen will only fit a Sailor brand converter and or cartridge. Versus international converter means that it'll fit into all others. So for example, Kaweco will take an international short converter. Important, short body, international, short, versus full body Kaweco, this is a Perkeo, will fit an international cartridge. Either way, this can still fit an international short cartridge. Doesn't matter. As long as it's international, it'll fit in there, you can use it. Cartridge being this guy. Little piece that has the ink in it already, and you can push it right into the pen. When you first purchase your Kaweco, there will be a cartridge inside there. So you're just gonna wanna open up your pen, turn it right over, that bottom part, smack that on the table, and voila, there is your cartridge. For Lamy, when you first get it, you'll notice a little kind of like hard paper right in between the cap and the pen. You're gonna have to take that off before you then load in your cartridge that will come with your pen right up into the top where the nib connects, and then close that guy right up. It will not close properly if you don't take that little ring off. Converter is essentially what looks like a cartridge, but you have this piece here that usually will twist or push up. This is what you would use to be able to use bottled ink. So for converters, again, same deal. You want to make sure that your pen can fit either proprietary, which is very specifically that brand can only fit that converter, and or international short, which means that your pen can fit the standard size for most fountain pens. And so we have here a Kaweco converter. This is international standard. This is international short. People use international interchangeably, but you just need to know if you need a short one or a full-size one. That pertains to the Sport being the short one and the Perkeo being a full-sized one. So for converters, they look very similar to a cartridge, except empty. So the way that it works is you're going to be using this to fill your pen with bottled inks. Bottled inks is a whole nother world we could get into, but just not today. So for a converter, you'll actually either with just the converter or the converter connected to the nib, you'll put that in a bottle of ink, twist it up or pull it up depending on what type you have, and voila, you've inked up your converter. You can put that right into your pen and you're good to go. So now that I've talked about converters, and I think I mentioned, but with converters, typically you're gonna use that to pull up bottled ink. And we do have a variety of different brands for ink, Three Oysters, Sailor, Ferris Wheel Press, and a few. With Ferris Wheel Press, we typically carry their shimmer inks, and that is a fountain pen specific ink. But I would just recommend that you use those in a medium nib or higher. You're gonna have a better time with the flow of the ink and also with way more shimmer showing up. Now we're gonna talk about cleaning these guys, because again, you wanna maintain them for a lifetime, so we gotta keep them clean. And so if you're using these purely for utilitarian purposes, you might only be using the same colored ink over and over again. You still wanna give it a fresh little wash here and there, but you don't have to be too thorough, because if you're using black every single time, you're fine. Now, if you want to use a different ink, you wanna change color, etc., you wanna do a nice thorough clean of these pens. And for a cartridge, it's a little easier. You're just gonna toss your empty cartridge, run your nib under some warm water. You could even sit it in some water and let that soak out, or use a cleaning tool, syringe usually, to flush water through the nib. If you're doing converter, however, same deal in terms of cleaning out your nib, making sure that's all clear of any residual ink. But for the converter, you're also going to want to make sure that you pull some fresh water in and out of the converter to clean out any residual ink as well. Please, for both things, let your pen dry out completely. You don't want any water just kind of sitting in there, especially depending on what the nib is made out of. You don't want to mess with the metal. I just want to give a couple tips. Now that your pen is inked up, you do want to make sure to store your pen either horizontally or with your nib up. You don't want the nib down. Gravity is going to take that ink right out of your pen and all over whatever you got it on. And also with that, now that your pen is inked up, you do want to make sure you give it a scribble every now and then if you're not writing with it every day. Otherwise, it can get kind of dry. It's not the end of the world. You can take a little cloth or dip your pen in a little bit of water, and that'll get the ink flowing again, but you don't want to just leave ink in your pen for days on end. That is kind of the perk of converter over cartridge, is that you can just take the converter out and empty it of the ink. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that these guys are definitely built to be a lifelong partner, meaning that you should treat it as such. These are delicate little creatures. So you just want to make sure you don't handle them too roughly. Don't slam on the nib when you're writing. Try not to drop it on the nib, please. And just overall handle it with care. Of course, some pens are a little lower in price point, and so it can kind of take a little bit of a beating, but you really do want to make sure that you care for these guys like they're caring for you in terms of your writing experience. For example, if you're experiencing any issues such as it not writing immediately when you load in a cartridge, don't shake, don't stab it on the paper, just be gentle with it. Give it some scribbles, maybe give it some time, let it sit for a bit, the ink will flow. Thank you for letting me take you on this journey, and definitely come into the store, give these guys a try. We have some inked up for you here. Feel the difference between a fine nib versus a medium nib, which also varies between brand, just like clothes do. And the weights are different. We have a variety of different materials, from an acrylic body to a brass body, etc., etc. Also, you can hear me give you this whole spiel in person, and or one of my coworkers. So yeah, come on down to Omoi, 41 South 3rd Street in Old City. After you finish watching this video, and like to subscribe.